it off. It off. All right, ETM Hotep. Just hit the green button to go live, and we're live. So we're live, and today's Friday, so we have Freestyle Friday and open session. So that's what I titled it for now, Freestyle Friday and open discussion. You are on the Sesh Medew Netcher YouTube channel. This is your brother Wujau, and we're going to get it in Freestyle Friday. So quickly, those who are on the panel, if you want to introduce yourself. I think we lost someone, probably pop right back on, but yeah, we can do our pass the mic real quick.
Hotep, my name is Tamika, and doing
Hotep, Rani Imiket. My name is Imiket, and welcome.
ETM Hotep. Welcome in peace, everybody. This is your brother June. I hope you enjoy the show and leave with satisfaction. I'm driving right now with a hands-free device, but I'm gonna be listening in for like another 45 minutes. So, Hotep.
It sounds like you skydiving. It sounds like you dropped out of a plane and just coasting. Okay. So today is Friday, like I said, Freestyle Friday and open discussion. Appreciate anyone who's tuned in. Now I see a couple of people in the chat already. So I'm gonna give a shout out to brother Donnie, brother Mathis, and brother Jeremy. That's who I see so far. So if you're in the chat, let yourself be known so we can see you in the chat. And I am going to post a link to this panel. All right. So matter of fact, I can do that now. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go through a freestyle session, our now traditional freestyle session that we've been doing for a few years. We used to do it very consistently every Friday. Then we kind of took a hiatus, and now we've been doing it, coming back and doing them again. All right. So if you've never witnessed a Freestyle Friday that we've done before, there are a lot of them inside of our archive. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, and you have to make sure you hit the notification bell and put on all notifications. All right. So that way, whenever we're live, because we'll go live on you real quick now. We try to keep a schedule of Wednesdays and Fridays for Divine Words Wednesday and Freestyle Friday like tonight. But on those other days, we'll go live unannounced. Sometimes topics come up, discussions are had on Facebook or in inboxes. And then, I know I'll kick off a live session, especially if something is good to share, it's a teaching moment. And instead of typing and going back and forth, or not even going back and forth, but just typing a lot, sometimes it's better to go live. That way, you could demonstrate, you can share screens and things like that. So make sure you subscribe. All right. And share. Okay. Share. And if you like the content of our channel altogether, then thumb it up. If you don't thumb it down though. If you like it, thumb it up. If you don't like it, just don't do anything. No, but yeah, thumbs up, thumbs down, however you feel. Just give you honest. I don't see how anybody cannot like what we have on our channel. I really don't know. I don't know. All right, so I'm gonna post this link. But while I post the link, does anybody have anything to open up with before we share this picture? Okay, guess not. See, it's that silence right there. That silence is loud.
Oh, yeah. I guess everybody's just dying to get on with a freestyle. I hope.
Okay. All right. All right. So, okay. So I'm just trying to get busy posting the link. All right. So that's the link to the panel because, okay. So let me explain Freestyle Friday very quickly. Freestyle Friday is obviously it happens on Fridays, but we call it freestyle because what we do, we demonstrate the 4 steps to the transliteration translation method. All right. There's 4 steps we always go over, and we'll mention them shortly. But we go over those 4 steps, but we call it freestyle because we don't use any resources that you would normally use in any other situation. And so that's where the freestyle part comes in. And why we do it is for two or more reasons. One is fun. Two, it allows you to know where you have to sharpen yourself, where you're weak at, where your strong points are, and it lets you know what you have retained in terms of your study, where you are in your studies, and so on and so forth. Because you have to identify glyphs, you have to identify meanings of words, and then apply grammar if you know a bit of the grammar. So for beginners, it's very, very well, for everybody, it's very good. And it's something I encourage. And we started it years ago, a few years back. And so we just experience it with everybody watching. And so our freestyle relies on participation. So we would kind of volley back and forth with the chat, but the way YouTube is set up and broadcasting, there's a delay. So that's the reason why I post the link. So if you want to participate, then hit the link. You don't have to have your camera on or anything like that, if that's an issue. But hit the link if you want to participate. And so this is about participation, okay? Because we do this all the time, but we're trying to build up and get other people to do it, appreciate it, and so on. All right. So the link is there. Matter of fact, I'm gonna pin it. That's what I forgot to do. So I pinned it to the top of the chat. All right. So feel free to join. All right. And then after we do a freestyle, we probably open up for discussions, questions, or what have you. All right. So Brother Mathis, I see your question, but stick around and ask it again. All right. Because we want to go into the freestyle first. All right. But I want to acknowledge that I do see your question. All right. Hotep, Sister Safa, Sanet, Safa. As a matter of fact, let me just, to buy us a little bit of time, go over a few common words that you hear people use and say. And these are words in the ancient Egyptian language, which is known as Rani Kemet. The writing system is called Sesh, Medew, Netcher. The language is called Rani Kemet. So in Rani Kemet, you'll hear us say quite a few words all the time, like Hotep. Everyone pretty much knows what Hotep means. Not everyone may know the kind of context and backdrop around that word and why it's used as a greeting. So we may be able to get into that another time. But Hotep is a word you'll hear us say. Dua, which is the word for appreciation or thanks, gratitude, things like that. Dua'u, you may hear people say dua'u, which is to pluralize it, which is to make it more. So it's like saying thanks a lot or many thanks. Dua'u. Dua'u, you hear that. You may hear us say brother, which is sin, sister, Sinet. Let's say Sinet Safa, if you heard me say that, or Sin Aaron, Hotep, and etc. Word for yes, Tiu, no, nin. What's some more words? I mean, there's a whole bunch. I'll just say them, I'll remind it and just mention them as they're used. All right. So we're just gonna go ahead and get started. But anybody have anything first before I share my screen? Yes, no, maybe so.
Then
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and start. All right. So we're going to start this freestyle off by someone on the panel, anyone on the panel, um, giving the 4 steps. So let's inform everyone of the 4 steps to the transliteration translation method. So let's start there. What are those 4 steps?
Identifying the glyphs,
Okay, that's step 1.
direction,
Well, wait. That's not step 1.
I was about to say.
I was about to be an enabler. So shame on Wujao. I was about to be an enabler. That is a step though, but that's not step 1. So let's do them in order.
direction.
Yep,
Okay.
that's step 1.
Identifying.
Yep, that's step 2.
Okay. Then I think coming up with your words.
Okay, I'll let you slide with that one. Okay, that's step 3. All right. What's the 4th step? Last step.
Sensible translation.
Okay, yep, that's good. Definitely. All right. I'm gonna put it on the screen though. That's good though. Yep, definitely. I'm gonna put it on the screen so everyone can see the steps and kind of elaborate on it a little bit. So the 4 main steps are step 1, as Sandani already said all 4, but this is just to elaborate. Step 1 is an observation step. So what you're doing is you're going to determine the direction in which the glyphs are to be read. All right, that's step 1. Step 2 is a data collection step. And what you're doing in step 2 is you're identifying and documenting every glyph. Now, when I say it like that, it sounds like it's a long, drawn out process. And it could be, as a beginner, it will be. Okay. But the more you become familiar with glyphs, obviously you're not going to need to look them up. So you're going to already know what they are and the information you need already. So, needless to say, step 2 will grow shorter and shorter in terms of how long it takes you to do it and all of that good stuff. All right. So, step 3 is pattern recognition. And by pattern recognition, it means that these glyphs, as beautiful as they are, they're actually a visual representation of the language. So you're looking for patterns of the glyphs forming words. And so you have to group these glyphs into the words that they make up. And then from those words, you're now able to search the dictionaries for meanings. And like step 2, step 3 will become faster and faster for you the more practice you put in, because you'll be more familiar with words. All right. So even those of us whose mother tongue is English, born and raised speaking English, we still have to use dictionaries. So dictionaries will probably be a part of everyone's life, no matter how good you get with a language. Because English is a perfect example. We speak it all of our lives so far, but yet we still need to use a dictionary from time to time. But for the most part, we don't. And so you'll get better at this as well. So, and then step 4, last step, is to apply the grammar, and you come up with a sensible translation. Now, step 4 is a challenge for beginners, because at a beginner's level of study, you're only learning very minimal or basic grammar. So step 4, the translation that beginners will come up with will be suitable for basic text or simple text. So this is why I encourage beginners to practice this, but use monumental inscriptions, things like that are more short and simple and not complicated, papyri or transcriptions of papyri and anything long and more complex. All right, where you have to have knowledge of the grammar. All right, so anyway, so those are the 4 main steps to the transliteration and translation. And lastly, the difference between transliteration and translation: one is an orthographic endeavor and the other is a semantic endeavor. So which one is a question? Which one is an orthographic endeavor? Transliteration or translation? I'm asking. Nobody want to answer that, huh?
Oh, could you repeat the question again?
Okay. I said between transliteration and translation, I said the difference between the two is that one is a semantic endeavor and the other is an orthographic endeavor. So which is which?
Okay. So
Translation. I'm sorry.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay, which one is the orthographic endeavor?
Translation.
No.
Transliteration.
Yeah, there was a 50-50 chance you get it right. Yeah, two choices. So, but no. Orthography deals with when you hear the word orthography or orthographic, think of script and the rules for scripts. So transliteration is to move. The word trans is there, which means to move. So you're moving orthographically, you're moving from a source script into a target script. So that's the transfer. Translation is a semantic endeavor. And when you hear the word semantics, you think of the word meaning. So you're going to move meaning from the source language into the target language. That's what translation is. So casa in casa in Spanish moves over into English and becomes the word house. All right, so that's what a translation is.
Gotcha.
Moving meaning over. All right, so that is that. All right, so that should set everybody up for what we're about to do. All right, so I'm going to switch over to the picture for today, Freestyle Friday. All right, so this is going to be our picture here. And mind you, if any of you are watching now or watching the archives, in the future, if you have a recommendation for a topic of discussion or something that you want us to touch on in these, these freestyles or transliterations and things like that, or something that you're working on that you may need help with, or you want to, get other people in on it, then send it to us. Okay. We have a Facebook group. All the links are in the description of our videos. We have a Facebook group that I invite everyone to join. And or if you're on Facebook, you can inbox. Either way. All right. So, but this is the image. Okay, so this really not much to say about it. It's Stella. And that's about what we can say. I mean, you give it, you put your eyes on it. You see two figures, you see something in the middle, you see them facing each other, and you see it's a couple of things we could talk about that are here, which is kind of interesting. Now, what a lot of people miss out on these various stelae that have a rounded, like a curved top, is the word pet for sky. Because a lot at the top of a lot of these, you'll have the word pet for sky, but it'll be arced a bit, and it's arced as the sky, just as the personification of that sky is in the form of a female deity called what or who?
Tefnut.
Newt.
Nope. Okay, Newt. Exactly. Newt. You'll see Newt arced over the top like that. I'm not sure if you guys see my cursor. Let me put my arrow on here. So I'm speaking of this arc right here. If this was straight, you would probably better recognize, or more, quickly recognize this to be the glyph for sky, pet, sky or heaven. All right. And so on a lot of these various different stele, you will see it, but it goes unnoticed because it's at the top, it's at the edge, so it's not something that we pay attention to. But so having said that, make sure you pay attention and you'll start to see it. Okay, all right. But you see two figures here and so on. But we're going to get into transliteration translation. So now, so I'm going to blow up this section right here, this section in yellow, so we can see it better and start. So I have that on the next one. So is the screen is spotlighted on me? All right, make sure everyone can see it. Okay, so here it is. All right, so we're going to apply those 4 steps. All right, so we have 4 steps. So everyone remember the 4 steps. We went over the 4 steps. So let's start with step 1. And get my cursor back over here. All right. And I need my arrow. Okay. So the 4 steps. The first step, again, is to identify the direction in which the glyphs are to be read. Okay. Now, quick lesson, quick lesson. There are 2 answers to the question of direction. And it's really direction and orientation. Okay. So there's 2 choices. 2 by 2 is 4. So you may hear people who teach about the language will say that the hieroglyphs can be written in 4 directions and everything. And that's not technically true. So I don't say that. There's 2 directions and 2 orientations, but I understand what is meant by 4. I used to say 4 directions. But it's, I try to be as precise and surgical as possible. But we all, we don't fuss about stuff like that because we know what's meant. But the 2 directions are left to right or right to left. The 2 orientations are either columns or rows. That's it. It's just that simple. Either column, row, or left to right or right to left. All right. So we got to determine which direction that these glyphs are to be read. So who wants to tackle that first step?
I try.
Okay.
I see 2 directions. I see left to right and right to left.
Okay. Point me to, like, you see where my arrow is. So direct me
Right.
to where you want to go to explain.
Okay. The first. Okay. Let me see.
Okay.
The left.
Let me,
How you gonna do it?
yeah. So as a matter of fact, hold up. I gotta, let me do it this way. Oops. Okay. Since they're columns. Okay. How about this one? Tell me this one. If you can see that.
That's going right to left.
Make it green. Okay. Boy. This is going right to left. Okay, that's correct.
Right.
Right to left. How about this column?
Right to left.
All right. This column.
Right to left.
All right. Now the big question. Why? How do you know it's going right to left?
Because you're facing the glyph and the direction the glyph is going.
Okay. So the glyphs are so the glyphs themselves are facing what direction?
Right to left.
No, I'm saying either right or left. Which direction are the glyphs?
Oh, it's going right. It's facing right.
Okay, right, exactly. So you're gonna read into them. Okay, exactly. Okay, so excellent. How about this column?
That column is left to right.
Okay. All right. So is there anything in the column that sticks out to you that lets you know that?
Yeah.
The animal, bird.
Okay, this bird right here. All right, good. Let me give me another arrow here. Okay, so this bird right here. All right. Excellent. Okay. Now I'm gonna zoom back out to the bigger picture. Now you gave or you let us know that there are two different directions. So some of the columns are going to be read from right to left, and then other columns are going to be read from left to right. Now, why do you think that is? Looking at the bigger picture, why do you think that is?
I think it's
Because
because okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, the
Go ahead. If
two
you can't get it
figures.
up.
Yeah, I would say the two figures, one is facing right and the other one is facing left. That's how I would see it.
Okay, and that's excellent. That is absolutely correct. So the glyphs that are facing the same direction as the figure, this whatever these glyphs are saying, it relates to this figure, and the other set of glyphs relates to this figure. Okay, so for those who may not have known that, that's usually a general indication of what text goes with what figure and what's going on. All right. So let's go back, zoom back in here. All right. Okay, so that covers step one. That's easy, easy step. So now let's go to step two. Step two is to identify all of the glyphs. Now, usually when we get here, I always say the same thing, like a broken record. By the time you sit down and attempt to transliterate and translate any text, there are a list of lessons that you should already have known or learned and have under your belt already. Okay. And one of those lessons is to memorize single consonantal glyphs, or glyphs that represent single consonants, that we refer to as monoliterals or uniliterals. Uni meaning one, mono meaning one. Okay. And there are 24 in number, and some of them can be replaced by a few, but 24 generally in number. Some people may say 25, but the reed leaf is written as a single and a double, but it's the same reed leaf. So it's 24 glyphs. And that's not hard to learn, memorize, because our English alphabet is 26 characters and letters. So this is actually even less. So by the time you do this, you shall have those memorized. So we usually skip over the monoliterals. Okay. I mean, or you could by default from the start skip that, because you would already know them. You only need to look up what you don't know. But now, for the sake of Freestyle Friday, let's well, I'm going to quickly identify some monoliterals. So for example, you have bread loaf, you have the stool here, you have the arm, another bread loaf, a horned viper here, bread loaf, stool, a cobra in repose. That's a monoliteral as well. Let's see if I see anything else.
Mouth.
Yep, a mouth. There you go. Yep. You see the hand here, a reed leaf by itself. So yeah, those are monoliterals. And like I said, you should already memorize and know those. So you can skip those, and we will skip them right now. So outside of monoliterals, we have what's called multiliterals. And then specifically, they're either biliterals, triliterals, quadriliterals, quintiliterals, and I forget what the word for 6 is, but tris, quads, quins, and I forget what 6 is. Okay. Say again.
Exa. Exa.
Exy or sexy?
Exaliterals.
Oh, exiliterals. Okay. All right. But collectively, we refer to them as multiliterals. And anything that is not a monoliteral is a multiliteral. Okay, so you'll hear me say multiliterals collectively. So let's identify any of these multiliterals here. We're gonna do a few of them. So anybody on the panel, I have my arrows here, so you just direct me where to go, but identify what you see as a multiliteral, or I can just point to something, and whoever knows it, you call it out. So let's do that, because that's probably quicker. So let's start off with this glyph right here.
Sue,
Okay, excellent. Now, how would you transliterate that?
like the sedge
No, that's what it is.
or Nasut
No. I'm saying
or King. King.
Mm-mm. Hold up.
In S.
No,
Wait. So wait a minute.
Oh,
Wait.
I'm sorry.
Wait.
I'm sorry. SW. I'm sorry.
Okay, exactly. That's correct. But see, everything you said about this glyph was correct. It's just you weren't answering what I was asking though. So I don't want to make it seem like you weren't correct.
Yeah,
and-
I'm working on that.
okay. But
Thank
but
you.
no, you said everything correct about the glyph, but I was asking for the transliteration. But so you got to it. So SW. So this is transliterated SW, and we pronounce it as Su. All right. So it's a sedge plant and everything. Okay. So let's move on to this glyph right here. So
Hotep.
Donnie gonna do it all. All right. Hotep. No, but how do you? Okay, that's great. How do you transliterate it?
HTP.
Okay. Now, a very quick lesson on transliterations. All right. Very quick lesson. There are two main transliteration systems that are used. Okay. And we should know them both. One is referred to as manual decodage. And that is a transliteration system that is case sensitive, which means it has some uppercase letters in that transliteration system. The other transliteration system is referred to as diacritic transliteration system. And diacritic or diacritics are marks, these little small marks that you see around letters, like the accent mark, the chakran, I think. I'm saying not chakran. I forget the names of a lot of those different markings, but that's a transliteration system that uses those marks. Now, the manual decodage system is preferred on digital media, social media, and everything like that. Why? Because you don't need a special keyboard or special keyboard mapping to type out all the letters on the keyboard. But the diacritic is preferred when you're publishing something, when you're writing a paper or you're doing an article, blog, or whatever, and you could take your time to publish. So that's like the two main areas that each of those systems are preferred. So online, obviously, we use manual decodage. So I say all that to say that when you said it's transliterated HTP, in manual decodage, you have to be specific. So that H is a capital H. So it's capital HTP. And we only say the capital for the capital letter ones. If it's lowercase, we don't say lowercase. We just say what the letter is. So I just say TP instead of say lowercase t, lowercase p. All right. So
Oh,
keep that in mind. All right. So that's Hotep. So that's correct. Hotep, but it's translated capital HTP.
can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
I don't know if you know or not, but I'm in the class. I've been in it for about a couple of weeks or something now, and
Yep.
so I'm just trying to apply what I learned. I'm not trying to be the one sitting up here blurting out everything and not let everybody let it get a turn. If I come off like that, please let me know.
No. And I know you're in the class because I could see when you pass the quiz, it alerts me. I'm like, all right, there go Donnie, go ahead, So we're gonna get together and have sessions specifically for the lessons in the class, because every lesson is based on a chapter. So in these live, not live sessions, but Zoom sessions where we have these kind of group sessions where people can discuss and ask questions about wherever they are in the book and everything. So I'll let you know. Yep, I'll let you know that. Okay, so all right, so we have that. Give me 1 second. Okay, so next we are going to move to let's see what I want to do here. All right, let's pick this one. Uh-oh. We're moving on now. I think everybody's leaving that one alone, huh?
Ini.
Okay. Excellent. Give us the transliteration.
I-N-I.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Ini. Exactly. Okay, so that's very good. Let's do another one. This one here.
Is that the saw?
Yep.
SA?
Okay, excellent. But now, you have to just take a guess, but because I know I just spoke about the manual decodage.
Right.
The is the S or the A or the S and the A capitalized or what?
Well, that's I'm weak at that, but if just sort of, I guess, an educated guess, I would say the A, it would be um, capitalized in manual decodage.
Okay, ding ding ding, that's correct. So sa, the A is capitalized. All right, so in the word sa, exactly. All righty. All right, now I'm gonna do two more. One is gonna be very very hard. All right, so I want y'all to really 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 think about this one, okay? And it's right here.
What?
so so somebody give me what is that one?
Okay, I'll take it. That's the ankh. It's a triliteral ANX, but some people claim it has 4.
Okay, so ANX. All right, excellent. So that is the word unk. All right, last one for this. Now, mind you, step 2, you have to identify all of the glyphs, but for the sake of time, we're not going to do all of them. So last one right there. Somebody give me that one.
Is that like the pathway?
Is that the what? Say it again.
Like a path? Is it the pathway? It's hard to
Oh,
identify.
okay. No, I can see why you said that though. I can see why you said that, but that's not correct.
Sledge.
Yes, it's the
Is it the
sled.
one which appears as a determinative of E10?
Okay, say that one more time.
Is it the one which appears as a determinative at the word attempt?
That is correct, and that's yes and no. So it is it is a glyph for Tim, but it's not a determinative. It's actually part of the word, but I guess it sometimes it would be used as a determinative, but in this instance it's not. Um, but it depends. So I can't say that that part is wrong either. So yes, that's good. So Tim, it's the sledge and it's transliterated TM. All right. It's Timu, but people say Itim or Atim. Most people say Atim. Just like we say
Yeah,
Amen, Atim. All right. But it's really Imin and Itim and Itin for Atin. So we have Amen, Atin, Atum. All right. Um, okay, so all right, so I think that's enough of the glyphs that we, pretty much went over. So, people get the idea of step 2. So now we're going to move on to step 3. Now for step 3, for freestyle, we have to kind of combine step 3 and 4. All right, so we're going to give the start, identify any word that you see. So anyone on the panel or even in the chat. But like I said, the chat has a delay. So if you want to come on the panel, the link is pinned to the top of the chat. All right. Just remind everyone of that. So let's just go for it. So if anybody can identify any word on the screen, let me know, and then let me know what the word is and what does it mean.
I'd like to try.
All right.
On the from left to right, the second row,
Okay. Second column right here.
second column.
Uh-huh.
We have the Neb Tawi,
Okay. Excellent.
and
Okay.
that would
Uh-huh.
Lord or King of the land.
Okay. Close. Just you're warm. You're very warm with that. Just try it again.
God of the land? No, not God. Uh, yeah, that's the best I can do right now.
Okay. The first part is correct. It's just the second part. See?
Tawi,
Yep. Tawi, what does that mean?
the lands, upper and lower.
Okay, he said lands. Okay. Plural. But it's the two lands. So we have to make that distinction.
Okay.
All right. Because Ta'u is lands plural. And then Tawi is lands dual. So we have, we have to be mindful of that. So Lord of the
Okay.
two lands.
Thanks.
All right. So, but no, that's good. Excellent. Okay. Anybody else?
Since one is kind of forgive me, in the next column over to the right, you have the honorific formula, the Hotep Dinasut.
Okay. All right. Excellent. And that goes all the way down to here. Okay. Okay. Nice. Anybody else? Anything else?
Is it on the right, the two columns to the right, under the Viper? Is it the Neptawi in another form?
Oh, right here?
What?
Close. I mean, that is the word neb, but these are this is an a way of showing the plural determinatives. So we have three dots. But now, mind you, let me just say this. We always have to remember that a lot of these artifacts are very, very, very old. And so we'll always experience some kind of damage or whatever. And so we see some cracks right here, and we see this is chipped off right here. So we have to be flexible. And I bring that up because these are three dots right here, but this one is kind of chipped away a bit. And so you can't see that third dot too much. That would be right here, but that would be three dots. It's equivalent to the three stroke determinative, three strokes or three dots.
Hey, would y'all, is it okay to ask a question?
Yeah.
Or you want me to wait?
Oh, well, just hold on a second. Let me just make sure
Okay.
Adara got that.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Yep, Donnie.
So, well, I mean, it's not too far off topic. I'm not trying to do that, but I'll just wait. I'll wait. I'll wait. I'm sorry. I'll wait.
Well, he about to ask for some secrets of the universe. We had to start talking about the Akasha records and Lost City.
No, I don't do all that. I don't do all that.
All right. Okay, but yeah, this would be Nebu. Nebu. So it's the pluralization of Nebu. All right. What else? Anybody else?
The ready F.
Okay, where are you?
All the way to the left. To the
right.
left. Yes.
Okay. Okay, good. Ready F or DF? Ready and D both mean to give or to place or to put. All right. So having said that, what does DF mean? What does ready F or DF mean?
Well, we know it's it's an offering of bread, but that was one of my questions that I have. I'm not sure how to clear it up. It's some type of an offering, but the F is just always like, to me, is hanging out there, and it doesn't make any sense to me.
Okay, well, remember what I just said, that the word D or ready, it means to give or to place or to put. And so DF, F is a suffix pronoun for he. So having known that, so we have DF. What do you think it means?
An offering to the king.
Nope. So I'm gonna repeat it. So remember the word D, which is right here, it means to give, to put, or to place. This horn viper, which is a suffix pronoun F, it means he. Third person masculine singular, he. So them
Okay.
together, DF, what do you think it means?
So place an offering for the king, or place an offering for someone.
I'm sorry, say
Item
one more time.
to be or to attend. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
It looks like it's referring to the Netteru, the Heptawi, I mean, the item, or it looks like Heru above the item.
And that's correct. Yep. That is Heru, the word Heru here. But back to this DF real quick. So DF means he gives or that he may give. Okay, so we have F he and then the verb D to give. So he gives.
Okay.
All right.
So I just want to be clear. So the F is he.
Yes.
Okay, thanks. That clears up a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's the suffix, the third person masculine singular suffix pronoun. You may hear it be called a pronominal suffix. All right. So and now so this bird, yes, this is Heru. Now here's something interesting. So let me point to a word. This word right here and here. What is that? This whole word from this right here. What word is that?
Is
Ready, Ra.
Okay, close. You were correct, and then you kind of daggered yourself at the same time. So you said two things. One was wrong, one was right.
Unless that's the X glyph. I don't
No,
think
no,
so
no.
though. I don't know.
No. I remember I just said that you gave the correct answer, but you also gave a wrong answer. You only said two things. So repeat it, take one away and keep one. You said two words. One was right, correct, and one was incorrect.
Ra.
Yes, that's the correct one, Ra. So that is the name of Ra. Okay, we have an open mouth, the arm,
Oh, okay.
Ra.
Okay, I got it. I got it. So they're spelling it out. The R, the A, and then I don't want to say too much, but you got a determinative down there. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Okay, so that's Ra. Okay, we have Ra, and then we have this word here, which Adara pointed out. What is that word? And including these two strokes behind this bird. So the bird and the two strokes is what? I said,
Haraketi.
okay, go ahead.
Haraketi.
Say it clearer.
Haraketi.
Okay. All right. Har Aketi. All right. And then we were already given this one by Adara. Itim, or most people say Atum or Atim. So now here's the interesting part. Okay. We have what a lot of people would think of three separate deities. Ra, then we have Har Aketi, and then Atum. So, on the surface, we would, at the start, we would think, okay, those are three deities, the deity Ra, the deity Har Aketi, and the deity Atum. But now here's where, we would have to make an adjustment. It says Neb Tawi. So that's singular. Okay, Lord of the two lands. And then when you go over here, it is DF for singular, that he gives, not that they give. If it was they give, it would be D-sen and not DF. It'd be D-sen, that they may give. But that's not what it was we're reading here. It's that he may give. So what that indicates for us is that Ra, Har, Aketi, Atum is the name of a singular deity. It's a deity called Ra, Har, Aketi, Atum. Okay, so it's a composite deity. I just want to point that out to everyone. Okay, and we may see that a lot. We see it a lot. We say, Amun Ra as a composite one deity, but it has two deities named Amen and Ra, but they come together, Amun Ra. And so on. So we may see that from time to time. Wasir Sobek, and so on. All right, so we may see that. Everybody follow that? Should.
Two.
Pretty sure. Okay. Okay. Another word. Let's see. Okay, let's do this one. Well, that wouldn't be fair. I don't know. I'm trying to see. Okay.
Jafau.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, that was fair. June got it. Jafau. Exactly. All right. Jafau. All right. Nice. Okay. What does it mean though? Uh-oh.
Provisions.
Yep.
It has to do with the offerings. Yeah, at the beginning it's saying DF, he gives offerings or provisions.
Okay. Yeah. Hetepu Jafau. So we got okay, nice. Offerings and provisions. Nice one. Okay, so I mean that's enough. I don't want to go through the whole thing. Like I said on Freestyle Friday, we want to demonstrate the 4 steps, and so we give examples of each of the steps. So that's how you would do step 3. Now step 4, you come away with a sensible translation of the entire text, that whatever text you're dealing with. So let's give that a shot. So who wants to do this set of text? Because remember, it's 2 texts. This side is pertaining to this figure down here, and this side is related to this figure. So who wants to take a shot at all of this?
I can do it. So the transliteration and translation.
Yep.
Okay, so you have Hotep Tinesu, Ra, Haraketi, Item, Neb, Tawi.
Oh, let me just because remember we being surgical over here now. So what you're giving is not really a transliteration.
Okay.
something
Yeah,
that
the Egyptologists speak.
you would see. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So
Okay. Yeah. So should I go ahead with that or just go with the translation?
no, the what you were doing, I would just name it
Okay.
properly.
Okay, cool. Okay, do well. So Hotep Dinasu, and then Ra, and Ra, Heraketi, Etem, Neb, Tawi, Iwenu, DF, Hotepu, Jafau.
Okay, excellent. And what does it mean? What does all that mean?
So an offering the king gives to Ra, Heraketi, Etem, a lot of the two lands. Iwenu is Heliopolis.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gives offerings and provisions.
Okay, good, excellent, nice. Iker, the word excellent is Iker or Iker, depending on who you're talking to. All right, it means excellent. Okay, so now, but let me zoom back out. So now we know who that is and what's going on. So let's zoom back out. Now it makes sense. You see? Okay, so let's go back, zoom back in. All right. So who wants to give a shot at all of this? And it starts right here and it ends right here. So who wants to give that a shot? Boy, we got crickets on this side. They're like, well, I'm not touching that one.
I'll go for it.
All right.
Just start from the Inkani.
All right. Okay. In kind. Okay, go ahead.
So we have Inkani, Wusir, Ini, In. Yeah, I don't know what that is. It's not the pool of water. Let's see. So to the Ka of Wusir, may he bring.
All right, let me ask you a question though first. When we see in Kani or Kani in this case, and then Wusir,
Okay.
what would we expect after that?
A name.
Okay, good. So make sure you say that, like, because the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying is because names are very difficult to ascertain, but as long as you know that it is a name, that will be sufficient enough to get through the entire text. Okay, so yeah, just keep that in mind. But go ahead, we'll start over again.
So we have Inkani, Wusir, Ini, and something Naef, Naef.
Okay, good. That's Min Naef.
Wait, which one? Which one is Min?
Min, the game. This supposed to be Min.
Oh, so I'm looking for the little fringes, little pieces on it. So that's the
Yeah,
gang.
supposed to be.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. And then
But
we
no,
have,
that's good. And then keep going.
so we have Min Naef, in Nebu.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if that's Nebu, I guess Nebu Tau.
No, it's two glyphs right here. It's hard.
Oh, I see it. There it is. Yeah, got it. So that's Ma'achiru.
Exactly. Good. All right.
Yeah, it's like at the bottom there.
Yep, right here. You could barely kind of see that. Okay, it's easy to miss. Easy to miss. Okay, now we up here.
All right. So that looks, is that Kwa? No, wait. That looks like the hill.
Yeah, that look like the hill.
Is that the hill? Look like the hill there.
Yeah,
it is.
Kwa. Okay, so we'll go. I'll come back to it. So Kwa. So Kwa Ni Sa. So he's the son of, and I guess it's another name. Abad.
Okay, let me ask you a question. That you would be correct, but what's another word for the moon?
Iya.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I was saying yes, but yeah, yeah, but that's actually how you pronounce it. Yeah, I was saying yeah, but yes. Okay, to you.
Okay, so we have Sa, Ya. Mm,
What was down here? What was down here?
oh, Ma'akhiru.
Okay, that's the same right here.
Ma'akhiru.
All right, right here is right here. Right here is right here. Those three glyphs right there. So
Quata, looks like Qua, not Quata. Quani.
boy, it's like you speaking Portuguese. So quata, uno, cuatro, dos, tres, cuatro, quata. Like you gotta say four, quata. Like no, cuatro.
And no, but is that the hill though? It looks like the hill. The
Not in the second one, but in the first one, it did look like the hill. And the scribe was in a rush, though.
right. So for example, right above the Sa, it looks like the single stroke and the hill.
That water ripple ain't consistent with the other water ripples.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. So okay, so Qua, and that's Jed, is that Jed?
Yep, Jed. Right here.
And I don't know what that is. Is that a fish or something? Or
No,
It's the jar for
it's
basket.
the ornament jar.
ornament jar. Oh, but is that not Basset, not Bast,
Yep, there you go.
Bast, okay, Bast. Jed. And then we have E Ang Ma'akhiru.
All right, excellent. Good.
The names are a mess.
Yeah, man. Kill
And,
names.
but that's good. See, that's excellent, especially for freestyling. That's excellent.
Good job, man.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, just saying, good job.
Yeah, that's good. All right. So now we have both sides. So now I'm gonna zoom back out. So now we have a person here who is giving his brief lineage as well. Okay, so the person's name is Ini Min If Nebu Macheru, but he is the son of Saya Macheru, who is the son of Sa Jedbestet Unk Macheru, and that's it. All right, so that is the entire image and transliteration, or excuse me, that's what Imikat said before. It's what we call Egyptology speak. And so just a quick note on the way we pronounce these words. We all should know that the way we pronounce these ancient Egyptian words are not to be taken as if this is how it sounded in ancient times. Okay, I want to repeat that. The way we pronounce the words are 99% likely to not be the exact pronunciations that the ancient Egyptians spoke. Okay. And there's a reason for that. And that main reason is because we are handicapped because we don't see the vowels. And remember, the word vowel itself comes from the word vocalis, which is the voice of a language. Every language has vowel sounds because vowels are the voice of language. Consonants really are articulatory items. They put your mouth in certain positions to articulate sounds, but the sounds themselves, the voice of it comes from vowels. So that's why you can't pronounce a consonant by itself. You always have to put a vowel after it. If I say pronounce the letter B, we say B or ba or boo. We always got to put a vowel after it or in front of it. you know, when you're being taught these sounds. So just keep that in mind. So anyway, our pronunciations. Now, here's the beautiful thing is that an accurate pronunciation is not necessary to know the meaning of words. Okay, and I'm going to say that again. Accurate historical pronunciations are not necessary in order to know the meaning of words. Okay, so that's for all those out there that want to play the game of you all are not pronouncing it right. How do you know what it means? Well, hey, that's two separate things. We admit that we're not pronouncing it correctly, but we do know what the words mean. How can you do that? Easy. And whenever I'm challenged on it, I show somebody a word that I know they're gonna jack up and mispronounce, but they know the meaning of it, and then they get it, and then case closed.
Yeah, I mean, you could take any foreigner, for especially like people from different countries when they speak English. Doesn't mean that they don't understand it or they can't read. It's just, you know, they can speak it. It just comes out different, but they know what they're saying, what they
Yep.
mean to say.
I can show people an Arabic word in a Latin orthographic rendition that they're butchering the pronunciation, but they know what it means. You know, like the very word Muhammad Ali. Like we say it wrong. It's not just said plainly like Muhammad. That's not how it's pronounced in Arabic properly. Muhammad. Even Muhammad Ali, the way we pronounce Ali, that's not how Arabic speakers say that word or that name. You know, so there's many examples we can give, but we know what it means. We know, you know, all that good stuff. Or we can know Muhammad, one who praises, and Ali, the highest or high, to Allah, Muhammad. But anyway, all right. So everybody got that. So that, you know, that pretty much concludes our freestyle, really. So remember, I want to remind everyone who's watching. First, I appreciate anyone's watching. And ETM Hotep, so welcome if you tuned in late when, you know, we're in the middle of it. And the link, if you want to come on the panel, the link is in the chat. Don't be afraid. You don't have to show your face or anything like that. We don't demand that. But if you have something to share, ask or whatever, now's the time to hop on. So we're gonna go into an more open discussion. So if anybody on the panel already has something to share or whatever, we can do this for a little bit before we end. But so now there were some questions in the chat that I said I was gonna come back to. So I don't know. I think Brother Mathis was in the chat. I don't know if he's still there, but he had a question. I'm gonna see if I can scroll back up. Yeah, okay, I see it. So, but I don't know if he's still here. So, Brother Mathis, if you're still there, you know, let me know. I'll still answer it for the sake of the video, but I want to see if you're there. And then Aaron, so if you have questions, I see him. So we're gonna try to touch on him. And you know, anybody on the panel, if you want to chime in on these questions or whatever, feel free. But I'm trying to see if Brother Mathis is still there. And there's a delay. So I'm gonna read his question anyway. So his question was, Wujao, did the ancient Egyptians have kinky hair or straight hair? So the very short and skinny answer to that question is the ancient Egyptians were not a homogeneous group of people. So there were people that had different hair textures and different skin colors and different variety of features in Kemet. Okay, we have to remember that Kemet is an amalgamation of different groupings of people over time. All right, and it formed its first, pretty much the world's first confederacy, you know, unifying different people. And so here's something to always remember about Kemet is that throughout its entire duration of its existence, Kemet saw itself, the people of Kemet saw its kingdom and country, territory, etc. At all times, they saw it as two regions that were unified. although it was unified, they still viewed it as a unified dual. That's why that's where you get the word Tawi from. Let me actually remove this spotlight off of me. So that's where you get the word Tawi. The word Tawi is a dual form of the singular Ta. Okay, it's a masculine dual, Tawi, two lands, but it should be better translated as two regions. And those two regions were the delta and the valley. So you have the narrowness of the valley called Ta Shema'u. Then you have the more broad area that was flat and more moisture, floodplains and so on, because it's at sea level. That was the delta. It's called Ta Mehu. So we have Ta Mehu and Ta Shema'u. And those two different regions produce two different environments and slightly different nuances between the two. And so that those two combine to form Samatawi, which was the unified or unification of those two regions. And that's what the word means. Sama means to unify. Tawi, the two regions. Okay, so Samatawi, the unification of those two regions. And that was the name of Kemet prior to the 11th dynasty. The name Kemet as the name of the country or kingdom did not come about until the 11th dynasty. Okay, so Kemet was not called Kemet throughout its entire history. It was not called Kemet until the 11th dynasty. So keep that in mind as well. Okay, all right.
Yeah, keep in mind the length of time too, because I think whoever asked that trying to cash in, somebody recently put out a $300 bounty or whatever, basically saying if anybody can prove the ancient Egyptians were nappy-headed black people. But it's just over so long. We can definitely show that in some dynasties, but it was just the thousands and thousands of years. So of course there's gonna be some times where the invaders came in and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we gotta also think about time.
Yeah. The important takeaway though is that you're not gonna find any one feature, because if you go to the continent of Africa today, and more specifically, you go to a specific country in Africa, and if you were to interview everybody in any given one country, you're still not going to find this single feature. It's diverse. It's always been diverse. Africa, the people on the continent of Africa represent the most diverse group of people on the planet today. Very diverse. Okay, so, that's just always need to be kept in mind. All right, so that's that. I don't see anything else. Did I miss a question? Okay, Desharab. Desharab says, was that a Berber scribe though? Only the Berbers say F, he, him. No, F is a that's part of the Egyptian grammar. That's a pronominal suffix, as they call it. It's a third person masculine singular pronoun. And it's F for that one. S for feminine. K or ek for second person masculine singular, and then E for first person. So if I want to say, now we have different ones. We have the pronominal suffixes that are attached to verbs that form the subject of the verb. We also have pronominal suffixes that are more genitive, meaning possession. So if I want to say my book, for example, the word book is majat. So if I say my book, first person singular, I say majat E, my book. But I want to say his book, majat F, his book, F. Do you see that F? His book. Majat ek, your book. Majat Etch would be her book. Majat S, I'm sorry, your book, excuse me. Majat Etch would be your book, but feminine. Majat Ek be your book, but masculine. Majat S would be her book. That's third person feminine and singular. Majat N or Majat Nu, as some people may pronounce it, will be our book. Majat Sin, their book. Majat 10, you all's book. All right. So no, that is not unique in any form of fashion to Berbers. So just to answer Deshrab, these are have been pronouns in the language since forever. All right, suffix pronouns.
So
Yes.
elaborate on. I never heard that before. So some people think that the suffix pronouns are Berber in origin.
Well, that's the brother's question. Deshrab is asking the question, and I guess he's only familiar with Berbers saying F for he him, but that's definitely not unique to Berbers at all.
So what does he use in the place where there's the horned viper being used as a suffix pronoun in the text?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, if you can hear that, can you just type it in the chat? It would be interesting to know. Like, do you omit it?
Yeah, that would be interesting. All right, so I'm just going down the line real quick. Aaron Edwards asks, did the Remich have an equivalent to men and women calling each other B's and N's?
No, but they did call each other brother and sister, and I think that might be part of the reason why people say it's like incest, a lot of incest going on and stuff like that. That might have contributed to it, because we do see like in love letters where they called each other brother and sister.
Yeah.
Or sentence in there.
Okay, so but listen, this is what that question allows us to do, right? Because this is a teaching moment. Okay, so words carry meaning. Okay, a part of a word is its form, and then the other part is its meaning. And the form and meaning can never be detached from one another if it's going to be a word in a particular language. So the B word and the N word, today, when they're used today, they're not used for their literal meanings. Because, the word bitch, for example, the word bitch is a word that means female dog. So when people use it today, they're not actually calling someone a female dog. They're actually using it, the semantic use of it in a context they're using it is someone that they're not calling a female dog, but it would be like a term of endearment. Same thing with the N word, term of endearment. Unless, obviously you get somebody who's a racist or whatever using these words or whatever case is. But I'm saying the average use on the street among the general, population on the street and stuff like that, they're not using these words for their literal meanings. Okay, so remember what I said. Translation is a semantic endeavor. So a lot of times people mistake and try to translate what a word literally meant or the denotation of a word, but not how it's actually used among the people today, and try to find something in the Egyptian language. So as June said, the equivalent to that would simply be, how they called each other brother and sister. Like, and we do that today as well. Like, what's up, sis? Or what's up, bro? And now, now the younger generation have this thing, bruh. Like, bruh, you hear that, bruh? No matter if you're a male or female, bruh, what's up, bruh? Bruh, bruh, bruh. That's all I hear all the time, bruh. And so, I'm saying all this to say is that, you got to keep all this stuff in mind and everything. But now, so if you want to look up the word bitch in ancient Egyptian, you have to look up a female dog. Canine, a feminine form of the word for canine. Sabet, because sab is the word for canine. So but that's not what they didn't call themselves, stuff like that. All right, so I just want to make sure that's clear. They didn't call ourselves that. And plus, another thing we have to keep in mind is that the further back in history you go, the more conscious people were of names. So they didn't really kind of play around with stuff like that. The further, as you go back in time, people took names very, very serious. Whereas today, they're more arbitrary. People are named after cars and parts of cars and whatnot. Got little girls called Datsun 300.
Alexis.
Yep, Alexis 500 HP. I mean, so yeah. All right. So that's that. Okay. Was there anything else?
Well, we still have that picture there. Not to cause any kind of drama or anything, but just like to ask because this was from a video that came from the Elder Mfundishi. It was on a different inscription or a steady piece that had the figures wearing the sheer outfit that you see, like the one you see the man having. And he said something about those kind of cloths, being used for, time travel.
Don't do it, sis. Don't.
Hey, listen. So we might want to go into that because.
Wait. So you said that a little too fast. So wait a minute. Are you saying that somebody claimed that hold on, I gotta put it back on the screen, boy. Wait a minute. Oh, it's still there. Hold on, I gotta lock it on my screen. I gotta make sure I heard you correctly. So you're saying that this outfit is supposed to represent. Hold on, I gotta duplicate. I'm gonna bring this up. All right, let's bring this up here. So you're saying that
you heard her right.
That this outfit right here that's arrow point at, this outfit was an outfit made for time travel.
Okay, so because I just wrote this down really quickly, I went through the video real quick while you guys were talking, so I don't represent the elder, so I'll just read what he said because I wrote it down. So he said, sometimes people are not ready when I talk about this. Remember how I talked about—
Wait. Are you ready? Are we ready? Because we may not be ready to hear what you're about to tell us.
Okay, I'll give y'all time to breathe in, get some drinks. But yeah,
right, go ahead.
Okay, so sometimes people are not ready when I talk about this. Remember how I talked about how pyramids can change your energy? Well, certain pleats done in a certain way, certain connotations, change time. You are able, right? So you are able to time warp. Some of the priests who are able to move.
Wait, I'm not ready. Say that again.
Okay, we'll start from the top. Okay, sometimes people are not ready, so get ready when I talk about this. Remember how I talked about how pyramids can change your energy? Well, certain pleats done in a certain way, certain connotations, change time. You are able to time warp. Some of the priests were able to move through time and things of that nature by using clocks and meditation. And then he goes on to talk about how the military now do that as well.
Oh, wow, man. Okay. Okay, boy. So we're looking at a time traveler right here. Mm-mm-mm.
Yep. Based on the outfit, yes.
Based on the outfit. So it's an outfit that allows us to travel in time. So what kind of material is that? Because I need some.
And I still don't know what time travel look like.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah, the
So,
elders said light would bend around, like the predator. The light would bend around the material or the object.
oh, that's what it said too?
Yes.
Oh man,
So
y'all
what
have to give me a
I said,
link to that.
I'll vouch for that. That she verbatim, she quoted it.
Okay, give me a link to that. I gotta see that for myself. I gotta hear that for myself. But listen,
You
okay.
want
Okay, now one thing that I'm a heavy advocate for is, I don't deal with anything that's pseudo. People have a right to believe what they want to believe. We had a brother come on that believed that human beings can rule kingdoms for 7,000 years and 700 years, and that is that's people's prerogative, but it's not going to be taught around, if I have anything to, pass by me or whatever the case is around me. So that is definitely not true. Nobody's wearing a cloth material that's going to allow them to time travel. All right. That's a good storyline for a science fiction show, movie, or whatever the case is, but that's just not happening. All right. That's just not happening. It did not happen. It just did not happen. The ancient Egyptians do not say that the when they give the Hotep Dinasu with Ser Neb Jedu, Netcher A Neb Abju, the F Peret Kheru, T Hinket Ka Apet Sesh Minket Ka that Sesh Minket, that alabaster and linen, that linen they're talking about is not some pleated linen that's time travel. It doesn't say, Ka Aped Sesh, the time traveler, Minket. Or the Winut or Winwet and all that. No. There are priests. Now we have to understand though. Now let's get back to seriousness though, for real. That's just not true. That sounds nice, but that's just not true. But there are priests, and we have to understand what priests are. Priest is not in the sense that we understand it through Catholicism, like priest of a church and things like that. But that's how we have a tainted view when we translate these words as priests. But these people had very important responsibilities in the society. And so the better equivalent of today would be essential workers. Now that essential workers is a more broad household term since the pandemic, because during the pandemic, a lot of things shut down, but essential workers were one, allowed to work, and two, they had to work. People who work in utility companies like the electric company, and all that kind of things, they have to work because the society depends on it. So a societal dependency job is what these men had. And we call them priests, but they were different jobs. You had Wab priest, Sem priest, Kheri Heb, which is lector priest, person who's under the scroll, who read things that were written, and so on. You had people who actually monitored celestial phenomenon to calculate events. They were called Winut, the priests who watched the stars and stuff like that. So that's what these people did, but they don't talk about time travel. They don't say that, hey, let me throw on my time traveling cape and jump to 2020 or whatever the case is, and then go back. No, that's not the case. Think about it. If that was the case, think about this, man. God, goodness gracious. All right, anyway. There would be no famine. Like, for example, there are records of famine. There are records where the Nile did not flood quite as high as expected, and it resulted in a change in the growth of crops and the abundance of crops and so on. So they had different types of famines and stuff like that. So the king is the highest priest. So you best believe the king, if time travel was a thing, the king will hardly be home because the king would be too busy time traveling. He'd barely be home. And he'd be able to foresee a lot of things. There would be no war or battle lost. Think about that. How could anybody in their right mind say that the priests can time travel, but yet Egyptians lost a few battles and wars and stuff like that?
And
Because if you could time travel, you would never lose something. You will always be prepared. You will always be prepared for everything. Why would you send troops to a battle and lose if you can see the future, if you time travel? Because time travel implies seeing the future.
The quantum theorists would disagree with you and starting to make some presentation.
So I'm just saying. So I just want to nip that in the bud right now. So I don't, to me it doesn't matter what ethnicity you are, what race you self-identify with, what culture, what citizenship you have, what quote unquote color you are, and all that kind of stuff. Right is right, wrong is wrong, just like up is up and down is down. That's not gonna fly.
We face the things like that down here in Brazil too. I don't know if I can share something with you. I'm logged with my cell phone and my computer because right here is raining a lot. I don't know if you can hear in the back, in my back, the sound of the rain, and so the internet sign may be floating a little bit. So if I may, I would like to share my dissertation, my PhD dissertation about Ptahotep. Nothing long, but in there in this, I am arguing that Ptahotep's work is truly a philosophical work, not a religion, in the sense that we now understand religion. And at one side, I show some I base my arguments in some analyzing some parts of the book, and another I make some diagrams to illustrate my my thesis.
Okay, yeah. You were breaking up a bit, but listen, yeah, I would love for you to share, give a summary or speak to what you worked on in terms of Ptahotep. Definitely. So, maybe another time, come on and let me know. And then we'll give you the mic so you can give a nice summary, share it. Share a good summary breakdown or whatever. And then let us know where we can get a copy, if it's published, if it's for purchase, or if it's available somewhere, whatever the case is. I'll definitely make sure people have access to it.
Yes, thank you. I'm facing some trouble because one of the issues is that they didn't want to permit me to publish the text with the diacritical signs,
Oh, the
and I
diacritic sign.
refused. Yeah, they were refusing and saying because of the software issues. But now I think they solved the problem, and so when they solve finally solve that problem, I'll send it to you. But if you wanna, I have the manuscript, I can send to you by email or whatever, or another.
Right. Okay.
I mean,
Okay. So yeah, in the I know you said you're on your phone, but if you, yeah, like I said, I don't know if you friend me on Facebook yet. If you're on Facebook.
I send you a message, but I couldn't, I wasn't able to friend you. I don't know why.
Oh, okay. Well, let me see something. Let me get on Facebook real quickly here. Don't want to take up anybody's time. What is your, let me see if I can find you. What is your screen name?
It's Walter Duarte Odara. Let me
So
log in.
is it spelled? Wait, is it
V
spelled?
V
Oh,
A
Walter
L.
Duarte.
Yeah.
Walter Duarte. All right. All right. Let's see if I can find you here. Oh man, it's quite a bit came up. I don't know which one.
No, I'm with a blue T-shirt.
A
The one
blue.
with the dread, with the dread.
Okay, and nope. Walter
Duarte
Duarte, the villain. No. Walter
Odara.
Duarte.
Duarte Odara.
Oh, Odada. Okay, Odada's on there too. All right, let's make sure we're talking about Facebook now, because I did this with somebody before, and they
I
were
found some
not.
Mujal. I don't know if it's you. It has your mark, your logo mark, but I don't know if it's your account.
Oh, okay. There you go. There you go. Yep. There you go. Lives in Salvador, Bahia, Brazil.
Yep. Me.
Oh, yeah, yeah. You did send me a friend request. All right, there you go. All right, got you. Got it. All right. So we hooked up. So yeah, inbox. I'll inbox you to remind you.
Okay. I'll
All right.
send
So
you
we
that.
can do that. All right. Okay, so yep. All right, but yeah, Cat, that's interesting though. Nobody's time traveling, because think about it. The logic does not make sense. So, people don't have to know anything from anything. It's just that the Egyptians lost. If the priest could time travel gives you the benefit of foresight. That way Egypt would not have, all the invasions, all the battles, wars, and downfall and stuff. That should have been foreseen. And when you can see something happen before it happens, you can prepare for it and do what you got to do and stuff. So I mean, that just doesn't make sense.
They would be
That does,
driving cars back then, aeroplanes. I mean, what's the point of time traveling if you can't use everything you've learned?
it would just not have been. It does not make any sense. That's just nice fantasy. That's an example of romanticizing and commercializing Egypt, and it has no place in any serious study. So that's just the way it is. All right.
And if you watch the whole video, which is and we always say this, there's some key points, like some patterns you start to notice, is that what was a shame actually was it was actually at the Met Museum, and it was a tour, and they were giving this tour. Fundishi was giving the tour to, people were obviously interested in Kemet, so this was their takeaway out of that whole tour. But standing there and giving information about certain artifacts, when you look at those artifacts, the the elders pointing at them and then giving his commentary about them, but never at any given point was what those artifacts were saying, the glyphs. All that was ignored. Like nobody even came away with knowing like what was being said on that. What's that text doing over there? It was just about the pictures and then making up things about the pictures. And people left, having a museum tour, coming out of a tour with nothing but those kind of information, which I thought was a shame on the part of the people who were there to learn something, and also for the scribes who took the time to actually write, on those inscriptions. They were totally ignored.
See, that's unfortunate, because that happens over in Egypt today. When you go on tour in Egypt, part of the attractiveness, the appeal to it are these kind of stories. You know, you see videos all the time where some people on tour, I'm not even sure if they're official tour guides, but people who are giving commentary about artifacts, walking people around, they're just saying stuff like that as well. I literally saw someone point to glyphs and said that that's the name of Allah in the glyphs. And it was really the word D, the word to give, D, like in the word ready, or DF, because the hand and the conical loaf and then the F horn viper looks like, you know, Allah, or it actually looks like a extreme cursive form of the word Allah in Arabic, in the Arabic script. They said that that's Allah in Egypt. And people that was listening to that, they were like, oh wow, you know, and that's where it gets dangerous. So we gotta, you know, we have to keep that in mind, man. So anything else though? You know, I don't want to stay on too long and make this too much of a long video. But yeah, that's interesting right there. Time travel. Wow. Okay. That's new. Time travel. As they say, you know. But see, here's the thing too, you know, people have influence, and they have influence because of how they're introduced to others. You know, the mind is very impressionable, and there's ways to manipulate. And sometimes a person is received through a proxy. Like, for example, if I were to introduce the brother Chris to a group of people who respect me, and then I introduce the brother Chris to them and big him up a certain way, then those people who look up to me, they're gonna receive him in that
Facts.
way. You know, in that way. And what that does, now I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, because that happens all the time. But we just have to at least acknowledge the vulnerability in that. And what that means is that it bypasses the perception based on works. So it bypasses all that. So if I introduce Chris as this, you know, end all be all guy to a people that know me, then they're gonna know him as an end all be all guy, and not really let him live up to it to make that determination first. And so a lot of people around in the conscious community, so-called conscious community, they have a lot of influence based on the sheer introduction or the reputation, and not so much demonstration. And so we just got to keep that in mind. Because me, I don't care how old you are, how young you are, what your gender is, sexual orientation, your race. None of that matters to me. It's all about what you can demonstrate, and to show your work, show your demonstration of how you discerned whatever it is that you're claiming or sharing or standing on. That's it. Everything else doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how emotional you are to it. Doesn't matter how it make you feel good. None of that stuff matters.
That's a very good point.
None of that matters. Doesn't matter how old or young you are, because all of us can make a mistake. All of us has the potential to share mistakes, share accurate stuff, share helpful stuff, share hurtful stuff. We all have this capability and abilities. So we should never let our guards down just because somebody is of a gender or of an age or of a race and all that. None of that stuff matters in science. That's why science and mathematics are very, very important, because those are the two domains of getting to reality. Science is the domain of evidence, and mathematics is the domain of logic. And these are input devices or tools we use to know when we know something. Epistemology. These are ways to know. Okay. And we all live in beliefs, but we're seeking to know. So the belief is the default settings. How you buy a new computer, take it out the box, and its configuration out the box is the default. That's the default setting. So our life's default setting is belief, because we were born as babies, we don't know. And so we live our lives climbing out of the ocean of beliefs into the sky of knowledge. And so we need to understand that. And everybody's not on the same level at any given time. So we have to account for that and just walk together, man. That's it. But we better start speaking up, though. We gotta start speaking up. We gotta start. Listen. I'm not an enabler. So when I hear stuff like that, it's stopping with me. You're not gonna hear me pass that stuff on. I heard the same elder talk about I'm talking about Mfundishi. I heard him talk about an alien before. I heard him talk about the twisted flax being the double helix of human DNA. All that stuff is just pseudo.
Yeah, but at the same time, Woodrow, just in all fairness, and I don't want no smoke or anything, and this may be true too. Maybe this is devil's advocate, but you also said you could learn from him. And that might be true, but when the language, the Sesh was spoke on, you mentioned his name, you know?
Well, okay.
Just in
So
all fairness, you did do that.
okay, so since you're bringing up something that I may have said, um, let me give you a bigger context. I also say that you could learn a lot from a dummy. So
True.
so you can learn what not to do from what people do. So learning is always there. So yes, I can learn from him. Like just like tonight, I learned to never repeat that foolishness and say that the priest can time travel. I learned not to do that. You know what I'm saying? For whatever reason, I am not going to be doing that. So that's a valuable lesson. And I thank the elder for teaching me that lesson of what not to teach and what not to say. And at least with a straight face. So nah, that's not happening. But no, but at the same time, see, it's not. So let me just be clear. It's not a black or white thing. It's not a this or that. So I'm sure there's a lot of things that the elder Mfundishi says that is accurate that I could learn from. So I'm not, so just because somebody is wrong in one thing doesn't mean that they're wrong everywhere either. So I'm
All
not
right.
naive. I don't ever say that.
But
I
like
take it. Mhm.
to me, like if somebody is going that far, like, you know, I'm just kind of cool. I'm just gonna back away. Like I don't know if it's true or not, but it doesn't surprise me, and I would just be cool on the situation.
Yeah, but I just want to say,
Back away.
I just want to reiterate me, because I don't ever want to get misunderstood, that I don't see things as like if any given person is wrong about one thing, I don't count that against them blanketly. I don't do that. That's crazy. That's like asking the question, how many lies does a person need to tell before they're considered a liar? You know,
Right.
the title liar. You know, it's a continuous pattern. Now, if any person continually does certain things and you can identify a pattern, then you can redefine them. But if somebody make a mistake or somebody make a claim here and there and it is wrong or whatever, I don't blanket stuff like that. I deal with it on an issue by issue basis until I can identify a pattern or some kind of consistency. Then I gotta be like, okay, let me reevaluate that. And then you earn the title. And that's just it. So, that's how I feel. So in regards to the elder Mfundishi, there are things that I've heard him say that I think are valid and worth me looking into or accepting. Like I'm sure he's a very good martial arts instructor and stuff. You know, from what I little bit I've seen, and then as far as what people have said and reputation on that. But when it comes to time travel and stuff like that, nah, that's not coming. That's not flying.
So I just mean like in the meta Netcher.
Yeah, I mean, even in Medew Netcher, I haven't seen anything from him that I've learned from at all. I mean, Dr. Riquetti Amin is his teacher as well as mine. So, in that regards, I haven't learned anything from him. Not that I can't. I'm just saying I haven't.
No, I got you.
Yeah, I haven't learned anything from him in regards to the Egyptians at all, whether it's language, culture, or anything. But there are people who do. So, I respect that. So I don't have anything, no problem. But misinformation, I got a problem with. That's why I'm adamant about that time travel. That's for the movies. That's for the movies. Yep. So I'm gonna make sure I'm not missing anything. So that's right. Just real quick. Jeremy said I'm an essential worker. Yeah. So what I was saying about priests, real quick recap, is that the priest that the people that we're calling priests in ancient Egypt would be better to refer to them as essential workers. Because nowadays we have this concept of essential worker now, especially since the pandemic. And so priests, ancient Egyptian priests of the various, different responsibilities, they held jobs that was very important to the fabric of the society. Okay. And so it's like this. Imagine, you're not the United States. For all of you who live in the United States, we all use electricity, and the electric company is responsible for providing electric service. So imagine if all of the electric companies and its workers were to become dissatisfied with something and then refuse to go to work. Well, guess what? That would quickly escalate into a situation of national security for the entire country, because the country relies on electricity, even including the military. And so that would escalate and get ugly real quick if all of the electric essential workers in electric companies in the country and so on and so forth, service centers and whatever, the A to Z of electricity, if they were just to go on strike or not to show up to work or whatever the case is. So something would have to be done about that if that were to ever happen. And so a similar thing happened in ancient Egypt, Kemet, when the priesthoods started to disagree with the administration. They had power to disrupt the fabric of the society. So you had a beef between the priest of Amen and so on and so forth with the kingship and institution of kingship and certain officials and things. And that's what you hear in the story centered around Akhenaten, King Akhenaten, and other situations. Okay, so I just want to, kind of throw that out there so people could start looking at it in a more realistic way. Okay, so again, these priests were more so essential workers. Okay, so you had the Wa priest, Sem priest, Keriheb, you had other priests and different ranks in among them. Yep. Somebody was going to say something though.
Yeah, I was going to just say that they definitely did feel that way. I was reading up on some like administrative stuff dealing with the ancient Egyptians, and this very rich guy had died, and so they had to send him to the, I guess it would be the Wa priest that would have to clean his body and get him ready to be they had to purify his body and stuff before he could be put to rest or mummified and stuff. And they did such a good job that his wife tried to donate all their estate to the priest.
Mm.
And then the government or the higher ups were like, no, we can't do that. If we let her donate all their land to these wild priests, they're gonna stop working and just live off the land and stop working. So we have to make it to where they have to donate the estate and land to us, and we basically let the wild priest stay there and work there and live there, but it's ours, so they wouldn't stop working.
Mm. So that's an example of what I'm saying. Yep. Because these are essential workers, and you can see the potential to abuse that and manipulate that. And so that had to be kept in check. And so we'll hear things, and scholars talk about it as the priesthood grew in power. We'll hear it described like that. It became more powerful than even the king himself. You'll hear things like that. So we just got to be aware of that. All right, so we got 5 more minutes though. Anybody else got anything? I already saw the chat. No other questions in the chat. No other questions. All right. So yeah. So I'm telling you, the safest thing about all of this is to stay grounded. If you don't have the time to study, to put, some good time, some invest time into studying, just be flexible and stay grounded when you do have time to study. Because sometimes people, what they call skip study. You know how you were you ever that young child that threw a rock in the lake or whatever, and the rock skip? We used to call skip rocks. Throw the rock and it skip through the water. Well, some people study like that. They skip through stuff. They skip through stuff. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but that's all people have time to do. And but it opens you up to be vulnerable though, because you can't get to the finer details of things and really look into things. So I'm just giving advice for people out there that skip study. Just stay grounded. Stay grounded. Don't run to conclusions. Don't jump out the window. Stay grounded, and just try to be aware at all times what you're dealing with. So if we're talking about ancient Egypt, which is Kemet, we have to understand that Kemet is very old and it lasted a very long time. And we're talking about real people with real problems, real lives, real issues, administration, economy, all these different things, and so we just have to understand that when we're reading these different texts and all this other good stuff. And then we have to keep in mind that the state of mind was different in those days. Even in recording information, and I always stress this: the figurative expressions that people like to take literal or cherry pick and take literal, and in taking it literally, they interpret it as something spooked out, spooky, or quote unquote religious, and they misuse the word religious and religion and stuff like that for certain information. Like they'll look at the Egyptians and say that they worship animal-headed humans, and then that will be a turnoff for that person. So but look at the process. The person has to first believe that the Egyptians believed that when they drew the animal-headed humans, that the Egyptians believed literally that that's animal-headed humans and that they worship them. So the person has to go through that assumption first, and then build that up, and then reject it. So what these people are doing that do that, they're really rejecting their own conceptualizations. and not the ancient Egyptians, because they haven't had a time to study what the ancient Egyptians really believed, whether it's figurative, literal, and if it's figurative, what's the reality behind it, and all this and that. So that's what I'm saying. I always encourage and advise people to bear that in mind, and don't go out here pseudofying everything, spooking everything out, thinking everything is spooky. These are real people with real problems. And Egypt as a collective was a very genius type civilization. You know, they were, man, they were genius.
Yeah, people haven't gotten, I think people get attracted to the mystique stuff and crazy stuff, and you will notice even the text that people would like to talk about so much, and they always ignore just like most of the stuff that obviously most of them of these kind of texts are written in hieratic, but they will ignore like just day-to-day stuff like the letters, the wills, the quarrels, like just documented stuff that will literally like make you understand that these are like just regular people going through regular stuff, fighting over food, fighting over land, fighting over, there's divorces, marriages, whatever, like just regular stuff. And people don't want to read those, even though those are actually texts that exist. They would prefer to go into things that they can just create lies around and make it all mystique and whatnot.
Right. And then the text that people do focus on, they don't look at it in the terms of scientific treatments, because
Right.
they religify, spookify, pseudofy all of the different texts. You know, not taking into consideration the difference between figurative expressions, literal stuff, and what was meant. Because we have it today, we do it today, but because we do it today and we're living in it, we don't see it. But 1,000 years from now, people in the future can look at something written today and spook it all out when we never meant it that way. Like, think about something as plain and everyday as the phrase, those shoes are fire. Man, those shoes are fire, boy. Those are hot. Where you get those? I'm gonna get some. Whatever. I'm gonna give me a pair of those.
That's bad.
So if you're saying that they hard, like, I mean, I know you're not complimenting on how how sturdy it is.
Right. Yeah. Oh, those shoes are hard, boy. Man, that shirt is hard. Boy, where you get that from? That's hard. Woo. Or you go in Chicago in the Midwest, and, oh, that's cold. Oh, that's cold. Woo, that's cold. That's cold. You know, 1,000 years from now, not even that long, but I'm just exaggerating. 1,000 years from now, somebody can pick up a letter where that's written, and like, oh my God, the ancient Americans, the ancient United Staters, man, they actually believed that their shoes were on fire. How could they wear shoes like that? I wonder if they burned their feet.
Mhm.
Like, really? Like, why would they wear fiery shoes but a ice cold shirt? That doesn't make any sense. Like, ice and fire at the same time? Boy, those ancient Americans, boy, they were
Hey, we're gonna be mythical beings.
they were pretty weird.
We're gonna be the new gods. We're gonna be the new Netcher.
Yeah, you know. Man, so anyway, I'm saying, so we do it today, and there's always been, listen, figurative expressions has used to be, when it was first invented and done by humanity. Nobody could pinpoint who invented it, but the humans that cultivated that technique and stuff, that was genius, and it was necessary for survival, because you had to document science within the language itself, within your mode of communication. So you had to create two modes of communication using the same form of communication. And we just call it figurative expressions. You know, I got butterflies in my stomach. The reality is nervousness, but the metaphor is butterflies in my stomach. I don't mean I have butterflies literally in my stomach. What I mean, the semantic meaning of it is nervousness.
Yeah,
But what you read and see is butterflies in somebody's stomach. So when the Egyptians talk about a heart being weighed against a feather, that's what you read, but that's not what's meant. It's the evaluation of the content of the mind. That's it.
now I got a question.
Yeah.
Like, as just wondering, like, I wondered, like, since algebra was like invented in the 9th century, like, what type of mathematical method did Egypt use?
Well, okay, that's a good question. We say algebra was invented then, but we also say things like Pythagorean theorem of was attributed to Pythagoras and things like that, but we see instances of use cases in Kemet. So a lot of that needs to be straightened out. The ancient Egyptians, the role of reckoning, the word to reckon or to count something, which is the word hesab, is and would be the word for computer today. So the Egyptians were very aware of manipulating abstract concepts called mathematical figures and things. And so, I did a presentation before on a different mode of mathematics, and it kind of ties into, so we will come to the end of this, so I'm not going to go into it, but it connects to, okay, put it this way: mathematics and its use is connected to divination. Okay, where we get into probabilities and we get into binary things dealing with binary outcomes, up, down, left, right, up, off, and on.
Ones and zeros.
Ones and zeros representing open circuit, closed circuit, off, on, up, down,
Indeed.
etc., etc.
Indeed.
And so they use these mathematical concepts as a way of knowing. So you have knowing through demonstration and falsification, and then you have knowing through revelation. And the revelation, when you go backwards in history, in time, revelation types of knowing or pursuit of knowing is what we call today divination. And divination, people chalk it off and frown up against it, but divination is one of the major unifying tools, because you can unify a large group of people around divination practices. If everybody in a certain population of people agree to live by the divination probabilities, that same group of people can be well organized. So I'm gonna give you an example. If you have a fixed number of digits, like for example, and I'm using extreme, the lottery, there's a better chance for you to win a pick 3 than it is for a pick 7. So if you had to pick 7 correct numbers in the single digits from 1 to 0, from 0 to 9, you had to pick 7 of them versus only picking 3 or 2 digits. You have a better chance at winning the 2-digit one, 3-digit one than the 7. Okay, because there are a fixed number of outcomes. So you have to use the combinations and then all the various combinations from those 3 places, number places. Anyway, I said it, so binary is 2. You multiply that 2 times the levels or rows. So each row you have 2 choices, either off or on, off or on. And you extend that down however many number of times, it creates a fixed grid. And where things fall on the grid, it becomes an organizing tool. It becomes a net to organize things. And so if you have 56 so-called Odus, like Nigeria and the Yoruba speakers have in the practice of Isheshe or Ifa and things like that, it will produce a fixed net of different outcomes based on what you do, and it's a very complex system. So I don't want to oversimplify it and sound like that. But I'm just giving an example of how math relates to divination, which together relates to organization and order. And hence you have Ma'at and Jehudi and Kemet. Jehudi is the deity, patron deity over mathematics, communication, because communication is a mathematical endeavor. It's based in logic. Language is a logical phenomenon, and math is the domain of logic. So Jehudi is the god of mathematics, communication, writing, and all that other good stuff. Ma'at, and you have Sashat. And you look into these, you'll see, and Medew Netcher itself, not Sesh Medew Netcher, but Medew Netcher, you'll start to see is divination properties. But anyway, but it's past the time I said I was gonna close out. So
but before you close out, real quick, I just wanted to ask us and Donnie how long he's been studying the Sesh Medew Netcher.
Good question. I think it's probably been about
40 years.
Yeah, I'm slow, but no, I'm not that slow. I'm quicker than you, but no, probably about 4 weeks, something like that.
Excellent. You're doing good though. You're doing good. I can see that. We're gonna get together though. So are you on Facebook? I think I asked you that before.
Nah, not so. I don't know, but
okay.
But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was only asking because I remember when Sendoni first started dropping in on the panel and trying stuff and going and you were working on just like the basic monoliterals and trying to get them, right and all that. And it's not so long ago because you can literally go on our archive and you can find Sendoni going through that. Because I just remember like it was yesterday, and then like today, like we are doing freestyle. And you did half of the left part of it. Yeah. You did pretty much everything. And that's what we say. Like, can you imagine like some people will come on here and talk about how they spent 6 years learning under so and so that they will not even tell us, and then as soon as an inscription is that they actually profess to have studied that particular text because they come into teachers, but they'll be when that is put in their faces, they like just they can't read it. And then here you are, we just remember you like working on the monoliterals like this morning in a time frame which was like a few weeks back, and then you're back here and everybody can see this, so it's not like we're making it up. And you did like half of the freestyle, and that's just very, very impressive. And it shows like like people gotta take time to read. And it's a shame that some people will talk about studying under so and so 30 years, 15 years, 5 years, and they can do what you did. Yes, I just wanted to kind of remember how long, because it seemed like it was just like 3 weeks ago. But yeah, like you said, 4 weeks. So it's very impressive. But it shows like just what just following the good steps, the proper steps, and you can always be able to read the Sesh. Just wanted to make that known.
One more thing, please, if I can. I learned to shut up, and because I go back and I listen to myself sometimes on these sessions, and I sound like a damn complete fool, and that's not something I want to do. So I'm always gonna be here to support. But I'm gonna be here for the session only, because those other subjects, I'm not here to give my opinion, but
I don't want none of that.
I just want to kick the Sesh.
Right. So, but that's really good, because people might forget. Like people even forget. Like for the rest of us, like me, St. June, St. Chris, like everybody, like people might forget that we also went through that whole process. and it can be done. But, you know, and that's what we really want to always emphasize. And I just hope that people who are going to be watching this can actually see your progress and just start to take this seriously and stop giving people that time of day, people who just really do not want to learn, because you've done it within 4 weeks. You've done so much. Some people will be over YouTube for years and, you know, talking about this and Kemet that, and they can't do like just the minimal. So it just shows that some people just are just there to fool people and not really they don't take it seriously, you know. But I just want people to notice that, because sometimes we forget that and people just watch us doing stuff and forget that it's just a process that needs to be done.
Okay, so yeah, good work, Donnie. Excellent. And so I'm gonna just want to close this out. I did see one more question in the chat from Brother Mathis. He asks real quick that he says, if we never stopped using the calendar from ancient Egypt and was still using it today, what would today's date be? That's a good question, and that's not a question that we're going to end that you should ask at the end of the show. But just to be real quick, we have to understand that the calendars, the way the ancient Egyptians kept track of time was not from a fixed point in time. So the years were calculated from a particular king taking the throne, being enthroned. And so when a new king came on the throne, they would start the year over. They would count the year from the enthroning or the appearing of the king on the throne. So it's hard to say what year, in that sense, what year it would be. But now, having said that, there was a phenomenon in Kemet when it came to timekeeping. They had two calendars, and one was traveling backwards on the other. And every 4 years, it would travel backwards 1 day. And so today we compensate that by what's called a leap year, where we would add 1 day on the month of February to compensate that, to keep the calendar stationary. But in ancient Kemet, their calendar went backwards. It traveled backwards over a 4-year period, 1 day. And so by the time from any starting point to traveling backwards around itself to come back to that same starting point, that entire cycle took many, many, many years, I believe. And I'm going off the top of my head, so I'll find the exact number for you at a later time. But
it was like 52 weeks, something like 52 years or something like that.
No. Way more than that. It took, I believe it took 1,460 years for the calendar to travel all the way around and come back on itself. 1,460 years. Now they refer to that as the great year of Ra. And so that's a better way of calculating what year we would be in right now based on the reset. So the latest reset that the Egyptian calendar had when Egypt was still, a civilization, from that point up until now is how you would calculate that. And so off the top of my head, I'm not able to calculate that for you off the top of my head right now, but I'm just setting it up. I'm just telling you what the method would be, is that you would have to calculate that. Okay. So I can give you, because I've done this before, and I can give you what that would have been in 2016. I think that's when the last time that I did it, because it was before I put out the beginners book. And in 2016, we would have been in the 417th year or year of the great year of Ra, the great year. Okay, 417 from the last reset of that big cycle I told you about. Okay, so I'll explain it. Maybe we can explain it on another show. So I just wanted to kind of partly set up the answer for that, even though I didn't give a full answer, because I won't be able to do it off the top of my head. All right. So So lastly, I want to make sure. So the brother Donnie mentioned the classes. He's been studying for 4 weeks. He's been doing a good job. I think he's in chapter 4 now, I think, of the book. But y'all have to remember, we have classes. Now, we don't come on here and advertise or push the classes and sound salesy and things like that. But periodically, I will do a whole show just on the learning process and the fact that we have classes, because, what I would like to see is a whole army of scribes, people who are into the language and trying to learn about the culture of Kemet the proper way, which is through the language. So we do have classes, and you can find all the links in our description of our videos. But we do our classes through the website Seba University, and everybody should be familiar with that word Saba or Seba. It means instructions, teacher, pupil, student. It all has to do with learning. So Seba University is the University of Instructions. And so we have the classes there. So if you go there, you can look for the Introduction to Ancient Egyptian Hieroglyphic or Sesh Medew Netcher and register, sign up. It's designed to be a self-paced study course where you get the textbook and you learn at your own pace, but you get the benefit of a weekly live session with the teacher, myself, and some others that are proficient at the beginner's level that can help you out. And we do it in a group session way. So I usually schedule these and then we get on a Zoom, and then we spend 2 hours together going through wherever you are, or we'll go sequentially through the chapters week by week. And if you did it every week on a consistent basis, within 12 weeks, you're done. I mean, I give everybody 12 weeks. 12 weeks, if you stuck with it once a week, you will finish it. But some people can learn faster. Some people have to take longer. So just want to do that. Yeah, everybody say I got long goodbyes. They say I got the African goodbyes. Like, I got that long goodbye. I do. I'll eat that. I remember that. I agree with that. Because sometimes I need to go, but I may not want to go. And plus, good questions come. Like, man, there's so many things we could talk about, but I do have to go. All right. So appreciate everybody tuning in. So anybody got anything last to say?
No, just thank you guys.
All right.
Well, thank you. Congratulations for the work. I'll be doing the classes very soon.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Can't wait. Y'all come and join.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. So say some. Oh, so I gave out some words before, like TU is yes, Nin is no, Dua is thank you, or to be grateful. Dua'u is many thanks. Sin is brother, Sinet is sister. What's some other ones I said? You may hear people say Uncle Jasaneb, but it's really Uncle Ed Jasaneb, which is life, prosperity, and health. What's another one?
Nefer.
Okay, yeah. Nefer is good. Becca Nefer is good morning. Mishiru Nefer is good afternoon. Gareh Nefer is good night. Heru Nefer is good day. What's some other ones?
You say Ren'i, my name, Renef, his name. Yeah.
That's a good one. Ren is name, and Ren'i, that suffix pronoun again. Ren'i is my name. Renek is your name. Peter Renech, what is your name? If you're talking to a female, Peter Renek. If you're talking to a male, what is your name? You say Ren'i Wujao. My name is Wujao. Maybe messed up if I say Peter Renek Imiket. Peter Renech Imiket. And it's like, wait a minute, you just said my name. But anyway, see how long this goodbye is?
Yeah. I was about to open up.
It's difficult to say goodbye.
All right, so I'm gonna say Shem Imhotep, and I'm gonna say Gored Nefer, which is good night. All right, so peace.
What's up?
Wow.
And then my